with Nicola Sturgeon pushing for a referendum as soon as next year. A new poll has suggested support for Scottish independence has surged to 56%. However, critics have today lambasted an SNP plan for a tax-free £500 coronavirus bonus for NHS and care staff, with the Fraser of Allender Institute think tank dismissing it as a political gimmick which would reward the rich more than the poor. Meanwhile, Scottish Liberal Democrat leader Willie Rennie accusing the First Minister of using NHS staff as a battering ram on the Constitution, pointing to the think tank's estimate that the First Minister's government was sitting on £1 billion in unallocated cash. The Ipsos Mori poll was based on interviews with 1,000 Scottish adults aged 16 and over between November 20 and 26. It suggests if there was a second independence referendum tomorrow, 56% would vote yes, compared with 44% who would vote no, a resounding 12-point lead. With the Holyrood elections being held next May, the SNP is on 55%, down 3 points compared with early October, while the Tories at on 22%, up 3. Labour is on 14%, up 1, and the Liberal Democrats are on 6 points, up 2. Mrs. Sturgeon announced the one-off thank you payment in her speech to her party's annual conference yesterday. The £180 million plan will reward more than 300,000 staff, including nurses and doctors. During her speech, Mrs. Sturgeon also issued a plea to Prime Minister Boris Johnson to make the bonus tax-exempt, although the idea was swiftly rejected by the Treasury. A Fraser of Allender Institute spokesman subsequently said, exempting any bonuses from tax is not widely regarded as a good use of tax policy. There's a reason bonuses are taxed. If they weren't, everyone would want paid in bonuses rather than regular pay. Making an exception to the rule once opens the possibility of endless future lobbying for tax-exempt bonuses, which is not something any government should be keen to encourage. The Institute suggested the inevitable rejection of Mrs. Sturgeon's plea served up exactly what the Scottish government had really wanted, another example of the devolved fiscal framework apparently not working. In a blog post, Fraser of Allender Institute's director Graham Roy and Scottish budget expert David Iser added, exempting the bonus from tax would gift higher-rate taxpayers a significantly larger tax break than basic-rate taxpayers. It is really not clear what the rationale for this would be. It is perfectly legitimate, and indeed desirable, to want to recognize and reward NHS care workers for their efforts in recent months. But if policymakers want those employees to benefit by £500 after tax, the solution is to pay a higher gross bonus.